Hey folks, welcome to Burnstown Blackout. Let's try a trigger group install. As mentioned earlier, these springs came pre-installed in place. I have validated that they are exactly where they need to be. Same as the hammer. Came in place. Just need to be cautious that things don't go in backwards. That's all. So that's the way that belongs. So let's work with the trigger first. The safety I'll install at a later date. But, like I said, just taking my time with this. I have the pin. Just got to line this up. Don't go in too far because the disconnector has to go in. Disconnector, this little piece goes over the other spring that was in place. Let me show you. There is a disconnect spring right here. So these two units blend together. So that's the disconnector there on the spring in operation. And then the main pin that goes in place through both the trigger and the disconnector, holding them together. So they go in. Safety goes over top of the trigger just in case. But anyways, so let's get this in first. And then we'll get the disconnector held in. And a little bit of work needed here. And I had it and I took it out. Just gently tap. Never smash. And that tap ain't working. Let's try a slave pin from the opposite side. Patience is the name of the game. So there, the slave pin is through, the disconnector is not in place. So I'll take that back out enough to get the disconnector in there. Again, fat fingers don't really help, but fat fingers don't help one little bit. Come on. There we go. Oh, goodness. Come on, get in there. Better lighting would help, I guess. Okay, pin's in, disconnector's not. I'm sure there's a real good way of doing this, but again, fat fingers, poor lighting. Craftsman blames his tools, right? Come on, line up. Why aren't you lining up? Go there, you go there. Bear with me, folks, I'm getting there. Looks like I have it. Again, in. Oh, and I have the disconnector. Awesome. So I got both. Perfect. Disconnector, firing, or trigger rather. So I just slowly force each through. Little tap. Pressure. And that's it. Trigger is in place. Awesome, good deal. Let's see how the hammer works. So this is the hammer, again the spring in place. Hammer spring goes over top of that pin I just installed, resting on it. And then I'm going to attempt the slave pin again into place. However, once again, lighting is not in my favor. Let's see what I can do to fix that. That's the slave pin and the hammer in place. So I'll push that back through a little bit. Just flush. Pin. Carefully feed that through as I push the slave pin back out. And look at that, slave pin is out, hammer is in place, and oh my god, I am pleasantly surprised. Wow. First time doing it, folks. I have to admit I'm pleased with myself. I'm going to slam the hammer back so that the disconnector grabs it. And then I will pull the trigger. The one thing to remember, because this is an aluminum unit, you never ever want to let that hammer slam forward. Never. Because right here is a thin piece of aluminum wall where the disconnect, or for the bolt carriage release comes in, bolt carrier release, as well as in front of that for the mag well. So you don't ever want to let that hammer dry fire into that without the upper in place and your bolt carrier group. So pull the trigger, disconnects, hammer comes forward, hammer locks, pull the trigger, hammer comes forward. Awesome. So now I'm going to release it one more time. Trigger is depressed towards the rear, disconnecting the hammer, or I thought. Okay, yeah, I gotta take the pressure off it. Okay, so the hammer, so I gotta let the hammer come forward, hold the trigger back, full pressure, keeping it back, let it go back. Again, the bolt carrier would slam it back. And then releasing the trigger, and that hammer should stay in place, not releasing. And it locked it. Awesome. Awesome. I am more than pleased with that install. I hope you guys are too. Please like, subscribe, be constructive on the feedback. Much appreciated. Talk to you later. Burnstown Blackout out.